Hey everybody, welcome back to Watches in the Dark. I'm your host, Dave Garrett. We're going to be going over the new balanced day slate Q2 2023. First off, we're greeted with aircraft, indirect, and bodyguard abilities. Nothing has changed in this one, so we're just going to skip over them. They've been in the last few days slates. I think we all know how these work now. First thing we really come to is the Arks Omen secondary objectives. Change the category of Portal the Witch to Warpcraft to Purge the enemy. The reason this is a big deal is it's trying to help out armies like Grey Knights and Thousand Suns and try to make it a little bit less oppressive because we have a lot of super powerful psychic characters that really feel good to be powerful, and it really sucks that your opponent gets to take like no prisoners aboard the Witch and no prisoners normally. Then the next change is to Codex Warfare. This makes it capped 5 per category for Dev, Tactical, and Assault Doctrine. So now you can't just play Iron Hands with all heavy weapons and melee if you melee. You need to be able to do stuff in the Tactical Doctrine, which makes the secondary much less appealing to most chapters. Some of the more flexible all-rounder chapters will still enjoy this, but this secondary is pretty much dead in most competitive viable lists at the moment. The last change we should mention for Space Marines here is Cold Order for Death Watch. Basically, it was you pick a few of the battlefield roles and score 4 points before. Now you score 5 points. Cold Order got changed in a very small way for Death Watch. Basically, just 5 VP now if you destroy all of your battlefield roles of your opponent of the 3 types you pick. If they don't have more than one, you just pick as many as possible. But now if you destroy all of that type, you get 5. So you kill all their characters, you get 5 points in addition. The first to last bullet point of Brute Swarmer is gone for GSC. This basically was the one that just gave you the points for having more models on the table than your opponent. So, being a Horror Army, they just basically got to bully people with free objective points. Hopefully that brings it back down a little bit. GSC are, I still think, in a very good spot. Even though Brute Swarm did take this nerf, it's no longer a free auto 15 in a lot of scenarios. Because you're not just front-loading like a 5, a 4, and then a 3. And then just like getting 1 point for maintaining one of each of these. The next big change we have is Dark Angels. Delete the 4th bullet point of Inner Circle. This is all infantry models get 4+ transhuman, basically, for anybody that has the Inner Circle ability. This means Terminator and stuff are going to lose a huge amount of their durability, which kind of is fair. They were basically the most point-efficient Terminators in the game. They got tons of buffs from outside sources, not even including Inner Circle, and this kind of just brings them back into line so they're not oppressive, people bringing full armies of Dark Angels. The Raven Wing is going to be much more interesting. Next up, we have another introduction on the Death Watch. They basically just now get to pick what doctrine they are in every turn. Instead of that, pick heavy once, pick tactical twice, pick assault 3 times. Now, every turn, you just get to pick what doctrine you're in. This is a huge change and actually could make Death Watch somewhat interesting. I don't think they're ever going to skyrocket to anything of importance, but I think they are going to be in a relatively playable state now. Jakari now also get back their Talos having core, and that's a pretty okay change. We really would have liked the Artists of Flesh obsession to be changed back for the things over Strength 8 and over to reduce damage by 1, but you know, this is a good first step because Jakari were kind of lackluster at the moment. Maybe this will help them go more in the right direction. Next up for Tyranids, it looks like now you can change your adaptive imperatives before the game. Now with Tyranids, it looks like you can change your adaptive imperatives before the start of the game, and a High Tyrant no longer needs to be your Warlords. These are actually some pretty big buffs for Tyranids. I'm not the most familiar with Tyranids. Trey with the Tactical Taurus is a fellow creator of mine that I love. Go check him out. He'll know all the ins and outs of Tyranids if you really want to hear his takes. Go check him out, and I'll leave a link in the description to his video below. And the last change we want to talk about really is the Overcharge Last Cell stratagem. Only inflicts a total of 6 mortal wounds per phase as a result of this stratagem. No longer the 6 per unit. And this is not an FAQ, so this is how they intended it to work until now. They were very happy that Last Cell would work against multiple targets. Because an FAQ is meant to correct rules that they are not functioning how they want. This is changing a rule from what they wanted to be something different. The truly last thing we want to talk about is the Relic that basically let Guard ignore all the reduction, ignore wounds, all this stuff in the last Relic. I am not a Guard expert. I believe this now only works on core was the big change to it. So Lehman Rustin and stuff don't benefit from it, but I could be wrong here. So if you know, let me know down in the comments below. If you stuck around this long, leave a like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.